Another video on how to make parts for your miniature train project. In this video, we'll be designing the train body. Now, this one has a lot of dimensions on it. Don't get overwhelmed right away. We are first going to go ahead and we are going to make the train body itself. So I'm going to start off with the back half, and then I'm going to put the front half on the back half that I created, and then we will go on with other parts. First thing I need to do is I'm going to create a sketch, and I need the planes. I'm going to draw up its shape. Now to draw it up, it's actually not all in this view of all the parts that I need to make. I know the width of the train is 2 inches, but I can't figure out the height of this section back here. That's because everything is hidden on a second drawing on the next page. So if you forget to look down here, you're not going to actually see what we need to work on. What's going to happen is I'm going to draw a line here first just to show the width of the back of the train, so 2 inches. And then I'm going to draw to where the center of my arc is for the top. So the arc on the top says it has a radius of 2.35, and I'm going to draw that from where the center is. So the center is halfway across, and it's 0.375 up. So I can actually link onto the center of this line, that green dot that showed up. I'm going to type in 0.375, hit enter, and now I know where the center of my arc will be. To make my life easy, I just like to use a circle while making this. So I'm going to make a circle. The thing is my circle, even though it says radius, that means I've got to make the diameter. It always asks for a diameter with a circle and a radius with an arc. So if I multiply that times 2, hit enter, you're going to see that it makes a whole circle for me all the way around. That way I don't have to try to figure out the height of each of these lines. I'm now going to just go ahead and I'm going to put the lines in, enter, click, put the other line in, see that locks to vertical and parallel, and I have everything that I need. Now all I have to do is use my modify commands, and I'm going to use the one called trim, and that is going to be used to just click on any part of the line that I don't want to keep. Once I have that set up, I click finish sketch, zoom out, extrude, pick my shape. Now I need to know the distances of that part from the front to the back of it. So if I take a look, that's 1.75. 1.75 in, hit enter, and I have that back section of the train. Next, I'm going to make a sketch on the side of it so that I can draw where the circle and rectangle will be, and I will extrude that out the rest of the distance. So let's see, I'll first start out with that rectangle. It is 2 inches wide. So if I type in 2, hit tab, and then it asks me for the height. If I look on the left hand side, I'm going to see that the height is 0.875. So I'm going to type in 0.875, hit enter. Now I have the rectangle of this bottom shape. Secondly, we're going to have the circle for part of the train right here. I'm going to have to make sure that I put it in the right spot. The center of that circle, 1.35 up, and it's in the center from the left to right. So again, I can just go find that dot, go type 1.375, hit enter. That will be the center of my circle. And this time, the circle has a radius of 0.75. So I've got to make sure that I go and put in the diameter instead of the radius. Now I could go ahead and I could trim up those lines, but you don't need to. All you need to do is when you go to the extrusion, you make sure you click on both parts. Now that I have both parts highlighted, I can go ahead and I can extrude it the rest of the way. So it says the overall distance is 5.5 and the distance back here was 1.75. So if I don't want to do the math in my head, all I got to do is type in 5.5, subtract the 1.75, and I'm going to have the correct length of the train from front to back. Next, what I'm going to want to do, I'm just going to turn the train to the other side so I can see it in the same direction as a cutout in the back where the engineer would stand. And I'm going to want to draw that shape that's going to be there. you're going to see that the center of the circle is in 0.25. That's a straight line right there. And then you have the arc, and then you're going to have the other straight line on the other side. The first thing I want to do is I'm just going to go up and find my vertical height of 1.75. And then I'm going to measure in 0.25. Now that spot right there will be where I'm going to have my arc. So it says radius of 0.5, type in 1 for the diameter, and I'm going to snap on to a quadrant. You can see you could snap on to any of the 4 quadrants, and I'm going to make a line that goes all the way to the back of the train. And do that on both the top and the bottom. Now from there, I'm going to need to enclose my space. I'm going to click from one to the other to make sure that it's fully enclosed. With that set up, all I got to do is trim the circle so I only have that arc left. So it's going to touch at the end of the lines. I've got my line across, and now I can just extrude cut this from the train body. Once I select it, you're going to see that it shows it wants to make it, so all I got to do is click cut. It automatically changes directions, and this distance is a lot longer than the train. It could go on forever if it really wanted to, because there's nothing else there on part of my object. So I'm just going to cut instead of worrying about where it ends, because it went all the way through plus extra, and I have that part of the train. Next, I want to start making some of the holes on the train. I'm going to go ahead, start with a hole on top, and then work my way around to the rest of them. The hole on top for the stack is actually the trickiest one. You're going to need to make a plane to use this, because it's not on a flat side. So I'm going to use tangent to surface and parallel to plane. I'm going to pick a plane that I want it parallel to, because the hole is going straight down into it. I'm going to pick this one right here. Then when I hover over this circle, you're going to see it lets me pick either at the bottom or the top, and I want the top side and parallel to that plane. I only did that so I could create my sketch. Now I can go ahead and I can start drawing and make that part of the object. Now that I have a sketch on there, I've got to know a reference point of where everything is. So I'm going to go project geometry, and that's going to make a line on that surface. With that line, I'm going to go ahead and measure how far back the stack goes, and then I'll be able to draw the circle and extrude cut it in. So it says 0.875. So again, I'm going to snap on to the center of that line, type in 0.875, hit enter, and then I'm going to make a circle that says a diameter of 0.5. I'm going to finish that sketch, use my extrude command, click on that hole, tell it to be a cut. Now I've got to change the distance because it says it goes in 0.25. I'm going to type in 0.25, hit OK, and now I've made that. That's the only time I need to use this plane. So at this point, I can just go ahead and turn the visibility off. That way it's not confusing me or getting in the way of any of the other parts that I'm going to make. Next, I'm going to make the holes on the side of the train. What I can do here is I'm going to go ahead and make a sketch on the side of this train, and I'm going to draw out where all these circles are. So I'm going to use their measurements that they have. This goes up 0.5. I'm going to take this back corner, go up 0.5, and then go in 1 inch. So the first distance in was 1 inch. Then the second distance says it's 4.5 from the back side of the train. So all I got to do is go all the way back to the back, and I'm going to type in 4.5, hit enter. Now I have both of my points. From here, I'm going to make each one a circle, and reading this over here, it says a quarter dash 20 UNC. It goes down 0.875 times 4. But to read that, it's a quarter-inch diameter with 20 threads per inch, and that it's going to go in 0.875, and that there are 4 of them. The first thing I'm going to do is I'm just going to type in 0.25, hit enter. I'm going to go over to this one, type in 0.25, hit enter, then finish sketch. I'm going to extrude again, just like I've done before. Click on both of my circles, and go in the 0.875 that it asks for. 0.875, make sure it's cut, make sure it's going the correct direction, then I hit OK. Now I get to worry about that 20 UNC. If I go up here, you're going to see that it will allow me to make threads. Since I already have the hole made, once this loads up, all I'm going to have to do is click on the inside part of this. You're going to see it already shows that it would let that thread image go on there. And apply it to that, and then I just apply it to this one, and now I have it on both. All I've got to do is repeat that on the other side to make my life easier. I'm just going to go ahead, click on that side, go back to the other side, and I'm going to go project geometry. I'm going to project each of these inner circles so I don't have to draw it again. Click Finish Sketch, go Extrude, click on each one of those, make sure they're cuts, they already went in the correct direction. Got to go back to my threading, thread each one of these, and now those are set. Next, I'm going to go to the front of the train, and I can make those 3 holes that are there. I'm going to go to the front, and I've got to line everything up just like I've done before. And it says that it's 0.125 up from the base. I'm going to go 0.125 up, and then I've got to measure these out. So 0.125, enter. And then the next one over is 0.375, and then the other hole is 1.625 over. So again, I'm going to make my line all the way from this far side again to get my 1.625. I don't just continue from that point. Now I can make a circle on each one of those. It says my diameter is 0.125. And then it goes in 0.125 and that there are 3 of them. So 0.125, 0.125, I've got those set up. Now this last one, it's in the middle from left to right, and then it goes up 0.625. I'm going to go to the center, see it'll snap again, 0.625. Oh, try this again. 0.625, enter. Got my spot. 0.125 is the size of it again. Finish. And now I can extrude those. So it said that it was 0.125 to extrude the depth in. Zoom in just a little bit so I can click on each one. Now that I have all 3 highlighted, I'm going to make sure it's cut, make sure it's going the correct direction, hit OK. Now you can see I've got those 3 holes. I've just got one last part to cut, and then I can round all of the edges that it requests me to round. So I'm going to go, and I'm going to go back to the back here. You're going to see there was a hole that was there. It's 0.25 in diameter, and it goes in a 1/2 inch. So I'm going to create a sketch back here. And use my line command. It's 1 inch, so it's in the middle. It's 2 inches wide. And then I've got to put in the height of 0.375. Hit enter. Occasionally it does that because it wants to select something else, so I'm just going to try it again. Okay, I've got my height. Excellent. Now I'm going to go and type in 0.25 for the diameter. Finish sketch. Extrude that. That one's going to be a cut. Go in. It goes in 0.5. And you can see that it does not say anything with UNC, so this hole does not get threaded. Last but not least, you're also going to see that there is a note on this that says round all edges 2.1. What I'm going to do is I'm going to use the fillet tool. And on this fillet tool, I'm going to make sure that my radius is 0.1 as they ask. And then I can click on each one of the edges that I need. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to click around all of the outside edges on this object. Now that I have this side, let's turn around to the other side, make sure we got everything. go around to the front. Now on this train, while you're doing this, sometimes you might error out if you hit apply on some of them and then try this again for the rest of them. So you got to make sure that you get all of the surfaces that you want at once. And then apply them, and you are done with the train body. Just save it into your train folder, and then you'll be done.